Good morning, and I'm here in Martindale at the moment, and I can almost see the full walk that I'm going to be doing today. So if I turn around, I'm following this road to Dale Head at the moment, which is a farm essentially. I'm going to take a path that actually leads up by the wall up to Angle Tarn, where I'm going to turn left, go across the Tura Crag, which is actually where I was going to camp last night, and I'm so glad I didn't, because it's probably at least 100 or 200 metres above the snow line, and I wasn't prepared for that. I'm going to go up to the Nab, which is this big peak here, but I come from the other side and then I have to backtrack over Rest Dodd, probably go up the Knott, Rampsgill Head, High Raise, over here that's Red Crag, and then I'm going to descend along this ridge here all the way back to the old church in Martindale. Probably about 12 or 13 miles. It looks like it's going to be such a gorgeous day. The sun is shining. I managed to get up for the sunrise on the top of Hallinfell where I did camp. And if you haven't seen that video, it was last week's, and it's just hopefully going to be such a nice day. I've got all my winter kit with me. I've got my crampons and my ice axe because there is a lot of snow up there, although I don't think the terrain that I'm going to be up is particularly steep, so I probably won't need them, but we shall see. So now that I've passed Dale Head, which is a farm just down there, I can actually see quite a lot of the first section of this walk. So I'm following this wall, and you can see the wall actually goes up the fell side up there. This is Bannerdale, and that's Rampsgill just the other side, and the Nab in the middle. And my footpath actually follows this wall all the way up to Angle Tarn, and then I'll teeter my way across the top of Tura Crag up there. What's really quite amazing actually is this is the only public right of way in Bannerdale, and there are no public rights of way at all in Rampsgill, and that is to protect the oldest breeding red deer population in England. And I've seen the whole herd a couple of times, not today, not yet, but in the past I have. And sometimes you can see as many as sort of 50 or 60 deer, and it sounds amazing in rutting season. So I'm just coming up to the end of Bannerdale, and I spotted a deer run across, so I had a look on my other camera, and there's a whole herd of the Martindale red deer up on the fell side here. I think I can count about 30 or 40 over on this side, and then there's a small herd of about 20 here, and then another selection of like 8 or 10 up there. And it's just so wonderful to see them. You know, it's such a vast environment that they live in, and they're so well camouflaged that you could walk straight through and miss them completely. And it's really nice that they haven't run away yet, so I'll see if I can get a few more shots further around the valley. So just before I take this ascent up along the wall up towards Angle Tarn, there's actually a historic site right here. You can see a few earthworks and stuff just over towards the trees and these rocks here, but it's actually the site of a Romano-British settlement. So it would have been a farmstead, probably a couple of houses here. Usually they are hut circles, and most likely they would have just farmed the land inside the valley. So I've definitely gained some height now. There's a lovely view down Bannerdale here, and I've taken a slightly higher path. Look, the deer running off over there. So there's actually a choice of two paths here. You can follow the wall, which is a lower path, and there's a bit of a descent to then head back up on a steeper path, or you can take this path that I'm on here, which kind of contours and gently ascends round. Although, you know, if you haven't got a head for heights, don't take this path. It's quite steep and very narrow in places, but it's going to save me descending down there and then reascending up, and I don't mind paths like this. I'm pretty good on them. I feel like I'm stalking the deer on this path. I keep bumping into herds of them. Just come across another one of about probably 15 or 20. Sorry, I've got to be a bit careful because the path really does slope down. But I've seen other deer right down in the bottom of the valley, and the rest of the herd that I saw earlier are down there, and then there's some running across. I forgot to say earlier as well, I stopped and had some breakfast, and I just looked up at the crag and there were these 2 deer just standing there watching me for ages, sort of spying to make sure that I wasn't hunting them or anything like that. I'll put a picture up just so you can see, but it was quite funny when I noticed them. Look at this, what an absolutely breathtaking view. This is Angle Tarn, a very popular wild camping spot. I'm guessing nobody probably camped here last night, not with the snow, but look at the range of fells over there. So this is Hart Crag and Dove Crag, and then up to Fairfield. You can see St Sunday Crag, and then that leads up onto Striding Edge, and then Helvellyn and Kidsty Pike there, and then Angle Tarn Pikes, just overlooking the Tarn. And then Brock Crags on the left over here. It is so peaceful, so calm. All I can hear is a goose just down on the water. So I've just passed where I was going to wild camp. You see the wall down here, I was going to tuck myself in there, or just the other side near a Brock Crags. And I'm just approaching Satura Crag now, so here's the actual top. And when I get there, there'll be a wonderful view of Grey Crag and down to Hayeswater, and then also across to the Knott and Stony Cove Pike or Cordellmore, whichever you prefer. Really looking forward to getting up there, although the wind is picking up a little bit now. So now I've just passed over the top of Satura Crag. I've got a wonderful view down Bannerdale And along the path that I followed earlier this morning, you can see the wall down there. And then you can also see the farm, which is Dale Head. Now, I'm going to be branching off this path now. This is actually the coast to coast that I'm on, but I'm taking this path here that just goes up and over, and it's going to head towards this wall, and then I'm going to descend down and then up to this little peak over there, which is the Nab. And then, as there are no other rights of way in that area, I have to backtrack along that, and then I'm going to go over Dodd here and then over towards the Knott and Rampsgill Head. So I'm just heading over now this shelf on the edge of Dodd, which is up there, and I'll be heading up there later, but for now I've just reached this wall, which also provides me with a view down to where I need to get to. Thankfully I'm not going to go through all these peat hags. You might be able to make out a footpath just right on the crest, and that's a little bit drier. To go straight through would be suicide. I'm sure you'll probably be deeper than I am. I just need to decide whether or not I'm going to go that side of the wall or this side. I'll have a look. So I've just stopped by this wall for a moment just to enjoy the view and actually give you an idea of what the panorama is like. So you've got Cordale Moor over here in Stony Cove Pike, and then Red Screes just next to it. Way off in the distance over there, that's actually Coniston Old Man. That's probably at least 10 or 15 miles away in a straight line, and not much snow on it compared to these other fells. And then you've got Hart Crag and Dove Crag and Fairfield. Cofer Pike you can just make out, a little knobbly bit next to the summit. St Sunday Crag here as well. And then that goes up onto Nethermost Pike and Dollywagon Pike over there. And then Helvellyn. Just a fantastic view right across Angle Tarn up to Helvellyn and Kidsty next to it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to do that in a couple of days because I need to do Kidsty again. And then it goes up onto Rays and the Dodds over here. Way off in the distance you've got Blencathra. I can make out Hallsfell Ridge. I think I can probably just about see Sharp Edge as well. And then more fells behind, Carrock Fell, Bowscale Fell, Bannerdale Crags over there, and then Little and Great Mel Fell down here. Now they had snow yesterday and there's no snow now, so it's clearly melting. And then way in the distance you've got the Pennines, and I don't know if you can see, there's snow-capped peaks over there in Scotland. Goodness, easily 40 miles away, 50 miles away. That's a long way away. Unusual to get this clarity in May, believe it or not. It's May. It's May the 5th. It's unreal. I'm now on this path across the moor here to the summit of the Nab, and I think the lowest point on this ridge is 515 metres above sea level, and the summit's 576, so there's like 61 metres or so of ascent, and then I've got to come back down this way, and then I'm going straight up there, which is a bit steep, but that's the most direct route up to Dodd, and then the rest of the walk. Now it's just to make people aware that this is the only real permitted route on and off the Nab, and I say that is just to protect the deer population that sort of roam both of the valleys alongside. It is open access, so you can go down either side, but there is no actual right of way out of the valley. And here I am now at the summit of the Nab. This tiny little cairn marks the top. Whew, that was hard work getting up here and crossing that. I think I had to go through 5 or 6 massive peat hags. It was awful. Oh, only do this fell if you're doing the Wainwrights. It's not worth doing it any other way, for any other reason. It's quite dreary and featureless, but the view is amazing. So a view back was Rest Dodd. I followed this wall in front and look how close I was to the summit. Oh, but I've got to go back that way and straight up, and that looks like it's going to be really hard. I'm pretty knackered, so I'm going to have something to eat. And then once I get up there, I've got to go back down, probably almost to the height I'm at now, and then go up again onto Rampsgill Head. But then from there, it's very minimal ascent all the way along the ridge, and then I'll get to Weather Hill and I'm going to come down back to the car. Whew, it's been 5 miles to get here. I just checked the GPS. 5 miles, and this is the shortest route to the top of this fell. And here I am at the summit of Rest Dodd now, at 696 metres above sea level. It was pretty steep coming up from the nab, but it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. It felt worse actually just going up to the summit of the nab and then coming back, so I'm quite happy about that. The legs feel good-ish, but what a view over Rampsgill, the very head of Rampsgill Head. You can just see a few people walking up there as well. And then high raise, and that is one of my Wainwrights that I need to do today to get my second round in, and then I'll follow this whole ridge down and then down that way. Now so much of the snow has melted, so much of it's gone. At least 200 metres in sort of altitude. It was down to about 400 and now it's about 600-ish. There are numerous kind of tops to this fell. There's a little cairn over here, and then there's another high bit around land over there. But according to the Ordnance Survey map, the one right next to Rampsgill is actually the highest point. So I'm going to descend over this path here. I'm going to go down and follow a wall and then straight up to a path where there's some people walking over there in front of the Knott. And then I'm going to head round the Knott and then up the other side. I've gone straight up before and it's an absolute killer. So I'm going to go round. Absolutely amazing day. I'm almost back on the coast to coast path that I left earlier down there before heading over to the nab. But I thought I'd just show you the view down Rampsgill and stuff, but the nab here where I was at just an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago, almost all the snow is gone. And when I crossed that was covered in snow. It's amazing how quickly it's all melting, and I imagine by the end of the day most of it's going to be gone. Maybe the north faces of the fells will still be covered, but a majority is going to be gone. And here we have the 739 metre summit of the Knott. Now it's not really much of a descent off the path, which is the coast to coast, but it offers a pretty decent view, especially towards the eastern fells over there. And I can see the Coniston Range, I can see Great Carrs and Swellhow over there, and that's Harter Fell pointing next to it. And then you've got the kind of big Fairfield horseshoe of fells there, St Sunday Crag coming off it, and then left just between Fairfield and St Sunday Crag, I think that's Pillar, all the way over near Ennerdale. And then coming round you've got Striding Edge and Helvellyn again, Cats to Cam, all the Dodds, and a wonderful view of Blencathra as well. So far the Lake District has missed all of the showers. I can see over in Scotland it's definitely snowing or raining over there, but so far so good. And my route is going to follow the coast to coast path that you can see here. I'm going to get to Tuppenny Crag where I turn left, and then I'm going to head up onto Rampsgill Head. You can actually see two people up there. They're probably heading to the summit of Rampsgill Head now, and then over to High Raise, and that's the highest point on today's walk. Just passed over Tuppenny Crag, and I've got the most breathtaking view down Riggindale, Haweswater down there where there used to be the old village of Mardale, and then Kidsty Pike, and that's the ridge of Rough Crag leading up onto High Street over there, and the line of the Roman road, which I'll be following later that way. But for now, it's all about Rampsgill Head, which is here, and I'm going to quickly divert off the path to go there, and then come back, rejoin the coast to coast up to Kidsty Pike. So here I am now on the summit of Rampsgill Head at 792 metres above sea level, and there are a couple of cairns about. I think there's one small one over there, there's a makeshift one there, and a cairn over there, and another one. But where I am at the moment, although there's no cairn, is officially the highest point on the fell. So I'm now going to head over there to Kidsty Pike, and then round to High Raise over there, which is the highest point today at 802 metres, so just 10 metres or 30 feet above where I am at the moment. So very little left of ascent and descent. Well, long way to descend, but a little left to go up. Look at this, look at High Street. Isn't that absolutely breathtaking? The crags and stuff give it such height and scale. It's fantastic. top of Kidsty Pike, and the sun has come out, and what a view over to High Street, Mardale, Ilbel, Harterfell, Branstree and Southside Pike over there, down to Haweswater, and then across the Eden Valley to the Pennines. You can see Crossfell and Little and Great Dunnerfell over there. Oh, it is breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. This is it. I'm finally here on the top of High Raise at 802 metres above sea level, and all my legs are feeling it, but this is the highest point on today's walk, and you can see Rampsgill Head over here, just slightly lower, and then High Street behind, Mardale, Ilbel. Just in front is Kidsty Pike, but it's not as dramatic from this side, and then Harterfell, Braintree, Southside Pike, the great sprawl of the Eden Valley. My original intention was to go down to Low Raise just over there, as there's an ancient cairn that I wanted to photograph, but I really don't believe that I've got the energy to do that. So I'm heading this way over, I think it's Red Crag, and then down to Weather Hill. I think this is going to be quite a long descent down the side of Weather Hill and into Martindale. Ahead of me I can see steel knots, and I know just round the corner here there's actually a couple of ruined huts, and I think I'm going to sit down there for 10 minutes, have something to eat because I'm very hungry. This path leading back down into Martindale is absolutely lovely. It's just grassy underfoot, but the view you get is just outstanding. So that's Rampsgill over here, leading up to High Raise, Rampsgill Head where I was earlier, and then Rest Dodd and the Nab where I was earlier, and then the whole of Bannerdale all the way to the end, and Satura Crag again where I was earlier. So you can almost see the entire horseshoe that I completed today. And then when you look in front, what more can you ask for? There's Allswater just over there, and I can see Old Martindale Church, which is where I'm parked, and in front the path meanders its way around little knolls to get up to Steel Knots just there. I'm not heading up there today. I'm going to branch off left down and back towards the church.